Hello to all those that are joining us back here today. Before we dive into our topic of types of visual perception, here is a brief introduction of who we are. We are a special needs training center that provides services such as academic support, behavior therapy, clinical psychology, counseling, occupational therapy, reading therapy, that will also cover academic delays, sensory delays, developmental, behavioral, and emotional delays, and also physical delays. For more information, you can always contact us. Without further ado, let's welcome Alia, our in-house occupational therapist.
Hi,
Hi, Alia.
how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Fine, so far it's okay.
Okay, so today you're going to share with us about visual perception, right?
Yes.
So, what is visual perception actually?
Okay, before we start, I want to introduce a little bit about the visual perception because before this, I'm already explained and share about sensory, gross motor, fine motor, but some of the people maybe never hear about what is a visual perception because this one like uh, satu input yang kita tersembunyi sedikit compared to other area like sensory, gross motor, fine motor and all of that. So, okay. So for the visual perception, actually we use our visual to receive the input and what we interpret what we have seen. So actually visual perception is relating between visual and the perception. So this skill is important in performing functional tasks. They actually have a lot of functional tasks in daily tasks that we tend to do lah. Like example, we do reading, we dressing and some other activities lah. So basically the definition of the visual is relating to seeing or sight in a simple way, like visual is what we see. We use our eyes and what we see. And the perception is how we recognize the environment, stimuli, and action to the response. So the perception is how our brain interpret the stimuli and what our response towards the stimuli. That is the perception. So actually perception is involving all our sense that we have, which is 5 senses like auditory, visual, touch, smells, and proprioception. But today I want to focus more on the visual perception part lah, because this part is important for our kids to perform functional tasks in school. Okay, so the actual definition of visual perception is the brain ability to perceive our surrounding through the light that enter our eyes. So that means how we receive the information or the stimuli from the external area, then we interpret in our brain, then it will become our action lah.
So it's like it tells us how what we do and all the things that we do basically involves our vision also, right?
Yeah, it's correct. So what we do, what we react towards the stimulation, so that's the meaning of visual perception. Okay, and for visual perception, actually it will allow a person to recognize and identify the shape, the size, the object, the colors, and so on. So this skill is important for a person to know, oh, this is square shape, or this is a big size, or what is the object shapes like that. So that is the reason why some of the people like take granted about this perception lah, because we not much focus for this skill. And the process of the visual perception is we have a stimuli, which is the environment or external stimuli. Then the image will go to our retina and have a visual photo transduction, which is the transition or what is they call him? It's a process how the light enter our retina and so on. Then it will process and in our brain will recognize, and then we will do the action towards the stimuli. Like example, the simple way, teacher have writing a words at the whiteboard. So our visual needs to see what the words that she write. Then we need to interpret the words into our
Writing.
paper on in front lah, in the writing. So that's the reason why the visual perception skill is important for children, for us actually to also important to perform functional tasks.
Oh, that's very interesting. I always thought it was just like, oh, we see something and then we write it down. Never thought so much of it.
Yes, because sometimes we just know about, oh, we see the thing, so that is a visual, but we don't know how the process, what is the skill that we needed, right? That's why some of the people maybe take it as a granted lah.
Okay, so Alia, is there like different types of visual perception?
Oh yeah, because this is a skill. So this one have a lot of types. Actually, for visual perception, we have 9 types of visual perception.
Wow.
I'm gonna explain one by one because this one gonna have it's look like the same, but actually it's a different definition lah. So okay, for the first one is a visual discrimination. So okay, for the word discrimination, we know that actually we discriminate, we distinguish or differentiate the what we see and what we need, like that. So the visual discrimination is defined as the ability to distinguish or to differentiate between two different things. Like example, we differentiate a picture of orange and a picture of car. So these two kind of thing is a different groups. Orange is a foods group and car is a transportation group. So this thing how the child can see the picture and, oh, I know this one. This one is a different from this one. So it's not the same group. So that's the mean of the visual discrimination lah. So normally, visual discrimination can be categorized by color, position, form, pattern, texture, as well as the size. So maybe it have a big size and a small size. So how the child want to discriminate between the big one and the small one. If a child have a visual discrimination disabilities or difficulty to perform visual discrimination, they maybe have difficulty to do reading or writing letter in reversal. Like example, we write follow, which is we start with WOLLOF. Maybe that's what the child have difficulty to interpret what is the word actually. So that's the reason some of the kid maybe we can see have difficulty in the visual perception, but we don't know which area or which type of the visual perception that they maybe have difficulty lah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I also want to add on that if a child have difficulty in visual discrimination, they maybe have confusion with upper and lower case of letter. So maybe some of the child that we see when they do writing, they tend some of the word, the first one big large uppercase, then after that they use the lowercase, then uppercase again, something like that. So that's the reason why they have this difficulty to discriminate. Oh, this one should be uppercase and this one should be the lowercase.
So this one falls under visual discrimination, is it?
Correct. Visual discrimination. So actually, visual discrimination, one of the activity that usually we use is find a word search. You know, because find a word search, they need to discriminate. Oh, this word no need to use, and this word we need to use because the spelling is like that.
Okay.
It's something like look like quite difficult a little bit, but actually it's have in our daily life function lah. Like example, we see the advertisement, so we can see have a picture, have a word, something sometimes a child have difficult to read the words because they can't discriminate the words and the picture lah.
So, I always thought, like just now you said uppercase and lowercase, right? I always thought if a student or a child like cannot cannot know whether or not it's supposed to be uppercase or lowercase, so that's when they will start writing like big letter, small
Campur
letter.
aduk lah.
So
Yes.
I always thought that was because like they haven't learn how to do it yet or something like that. I never knew that it could also be because of their visual discrimination.
Yes,
That's very
actually,
interesting.
if a child maybe like 2 years old, 3 years old, when they just do that one, maybe it's okay for them. But if you see a child with 8 years old, 9 years old and above, something like yang already teenage age, so should be they must know what is the suitable case
Yeah,
for do the
thanks.
writing lah.
I see.
That's why some of the child maybe have difficulty can see the difficulty to perform the reading or to do the writing because of this kind of the visual perception skill difficulty lah.
Okay, okay.
So we go to the second one or second types of visual perception, which is it is a visual figure ground.
Sorry, a visual
Visual figure ground.
figure ground. Okay.
Yeah. Figure ground, visual figure ground, usually we can see the example at the advertisement.
Hmm?
You can see a picture back and the words in front. So some of the child maybe have difficulty to discriminate the picture and also the words. But figure ground is how they can macam dia orang boleh discriminate ataupun mengasingkan antara between the picture
And the words.
lah.
Oh,
So
that
they
means
can know which one of the important point that they need to see in the picture.
so it's because the words and the picture are together, so it's a bit distracting for them, is it? They don't know how to
Yes.
separate. Okay, okay.
Yep. So visual figure ground, that's the definition of visual figure ground lah. So if a child have difficulty with visual figure ground, they have difficulty to perform to begin writing on the line. Like example, maybe they just like starting. Actually, at our books like kids books, they maybe have a line here, right? So maybe they have a difficulty to start where either they need to start from this one or after the line, or maybe sometimes of the child maybe like macam terbang lah walaupun dah ada line tapi tulisan terbang macam tu. So they have difficulty for the visual figure ground lah.
Okay.
Yeah, because actually at the figure ground we have foreground and background. Foreground is the initial one, like example, kan ada garis dekat buku. So bila kita tulisan tu adalah foreground, garisan yang belakang tu dikira sebagai background.
Okay, okay. So it's like the same like Alia said just now at the beginning, the picture and the line, is that the same?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So maybe because of that, the child have difficulty to recognize lah macam mana dia nak tulis atas garisan tu. That's why dia tak, sometimes kita boleh nampak budak tu bila dah ada alignment pun dia still lari juga. That's the reason for the figure ground lah. The third types of visual perception is a visual closure. Visual closure is the ability to perceive an object as a whole, even though the outline is fragmented or missing. Like example, we want to sambungkan lukisan. Like we draw picture like this one. So how the child want to
Finish the drawing, is it?
finish off the picture lah. So visual closure, maybe they can see, oh, this is a square. So they just add on here, or maybe like add on another one line ke macam tu lah. So visual closure ni macam mana dia nak tahu bentuk satu objek tu.
So even if it's dotted lines, they might struggle with it, is it?
Yeah, if a dotted line also can help for the visual closure, because dotted line kan kita dah bagi dia punya bentuk tu. So actually dia sepatutnya dah boleh follow je lah. Tapi kalau budak tu ada difficulty with visual closure, so ada difficulty untuk interpret what is the picture actually.
Okay.
So and one more thing, if a child have difficulty with visual closure, they maybe have difficulty to incomplete a letter formation, which is like in the handwriting we have a legibility and also neatness. So some of the child maybe just do letter P, like actually the letter P is like this, right? So
Yes.
they attach to the line, but maybe the child just do like this. So this
Okay.
yang terjarak ni kira dia tak dapat dia punya visual closure tu lah.
So that one, that means usually it's not just, the child haven't learned how to close. There's something to be concerned about also.
Yes, correct. So because of that, the child mungkin tak dapat nak interpret tau actually how the shape of the letter actually.
Okay.
Yes. So to have a good, to have a neat handwriting and good legibility, so a child need to practice more how to perform the activity with visual closure lah. So we can do some of the activity visual closure. We can encourage them to do this like handwriting. We cut pen paper, then we lukis separuh sebelah sini dan bagi dia orang imitate the image over here, another one side lah macam tu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's more like imitate a picture like that.
But if lipat separuh, then how is it supposed to? Can you show an example? Because I'm a bit.
Yeah. Okay, so basically kan, if we just do the example like kita dah lipat separuh kertas, so kita nak buat bentuk circle. So kita akan buat macam ni. So budak tu kena imitate. So kita nampak kabur I change to okay. So kita nak budak tu imitate yang bentuk ni. Then we just open up and ask the child to copy or imitate the image like a mirror image.
Oh, to finish up the thing.
Yes, to finish up this one. So dia akan jadilah nampaklah bentuk macam tu. That's one of the way to practice with your child to do the visual closure activity lah. So at least dia orang tahu macam mana bentuk tu sebenarnya. Okay, the fourth types of the visual perception skill that we have is a visual memory. This one is one of the important visual skill, because we tend to hear like ada budak senang ingat disebabkan menggunakan visual. Ada orang senang belajar guna visual. Yeah. This is the reason what is a visual yang kita maksudkan tu lah. So this one more to the visual memory. From what they see, they can memorize the thing. Okay. So for the visual memory, it's defined as how the person to integrate the information with the previous experience. So a child that have a difficulty with visual memory, maybe they have difficulty to remember and recognize the shape or the objects that we already shown before lah. Like example, kita pernah tunjukkan dia satu stocking. Mungkin budak tu ada difficulty with the visual memory. Normally Bila budak ada difficulty with visual memory, dia akan affected pada cognitive performance dari segi memory function lah. So dia akan jadi lost, dia macam tak tahu what is the shape of the socks, what is the macam bentuk lah, macam mana bentuk socks tu dia tak dapat nak recall, atau mungkin kita tunjuk socks tu dia tahu tapi dia tak dapat recall apa nama benda tu. It could be like that lah. And also we also have visual sequence memory. It's more like look like as a visual memory, but actually visual sequence memory ni lebih kepada macam mana a child to get the sequence lah. Sequence macam contohnya, okay, kita bagi sequence cerita, kita bagi satu picture, ask the child to make a story. So kita dah tunjuk, initially kita dah tunjuk dah, okay, child tu tengah panjat pokok, ambil buah, turun daripada pokok. Okay, itu ada 3 step kan, 3 sequence. So bila kita change the position of the story, then kita ask again to the child to perform the activity. So then macam dia kena tahulah apa yang initial dia, apa the continuous of the story, and what is the ending of the story lah. That's the mean of the visual sequence memory.
Okay, so this one will affect just say if they do have this difficulty, so this one will affect like every other activity that they do, is it? So example, like washing hand also, they might struggle with which one to do first, is it?
Yes, correct. So bila ada child have difficulty dengan visual sequence memory ni, dia akan ada difficulty to perform a task, which is how they want to initiate a task, or maybe how they want to stop the task.
That's a lot of new information going in.
Yeah, because today we talk about visual, right?
Yeah.
So we have a lot of visual skills that we need actually. Because like example, we just do dressing lah. Example kan, kita nak butang, nak mulakan pergerakan butang baju tu saja. Kita selain perlukan good fine motor skill, kita perlukan penggunaan visual yang bagus untuk tengok mana lubang dia. So what is the perception for us to know the button movement,
where it's supposed to go.
Yes. After that, how to take masuk dan keluarkan butang tu. So a lot of movement we need, and we need to see actually. Okay, I forgot to tell that if a child have a visual sequence memory difficulty, they maybe have a difficulty to remember how the words or how the letter formation. So that's the reason why when we give, contohlah kita dah bagi ABC, kita dah susun A, B, lepas tu kita tinggalkan tempat kosong. So a child maybe dia tahu yang mana dia nak kena letak. I mean dia tahu A, B, C, tapi mungkin dia tak tahu formation of C tu macam mana.
Okay. So they will also struggle with arranging numbers and alphabets also?
Yes.
Wow.
Kalau contohlah satu hari kita bagi aktiviti dengan dia, kita bagi random alphabets lah. Tiba-tiba bukan kita tak start daripada A. Maybe we just starting from M. So what the letter after M and what the letter before M. That's bila budak tu ada masalah dengan visual sequence memory, dia tak dapat nak settlekan masalah tersebut lah. So they maybe have a difficulty. Oh, what is the letter before M? What is the letter after M? Macam tu.
A lot of things will be affected.
Yes. That's why it's important for a child to have a good visual sequence memory as well as the visual memory lah, because when they have a visual memory, they can use what they see, they can use to memorize it, then they can interpret in a task lah, or in an action how we can do the activity lah. Okay, and 6, actually we already 6 types of this. visual skill. This one, the sixth visual skill is the basic skill lah actually, which is the visual tracking skill. This one should have developed from a baby age, like 0 month, sorry, 5 months like that. So a child will have difficulty with visual tracking skill. They maybe have a difficulty with eye contact lah, because bila kita nak buat object tracking, dia perlukan eye contact dengan benda tersebut. So if a child have difficulty to have a tracking skill, bila dekat sekolah, dia akan jadi susah lah untuk membaca, untuk menulis, copying task, something like that. So they have difficulty because they difficult to interpret what they have seen in the whiteboard.
So they take a lot more time.
Yes, so they like tertinggal lah daripada kawan-kawan yang lain untuk copy the task. And if the reading, kan kita baca from right to left. So the eye must move from left to right. Yes.
I so got clear for
If right to left, that's when we baca Jawi punya tulisan. So kalau in normal one, kita akan baca daripada kiri ke kanan. So eyeball kita akan bergerak actually bila kita baca. Walaupun kita rasa macam kita baca macam ni, macam static, tapi actually bila kita membaca, mata kita ke kiri dan ke kanan. Kita akan that's the eye tracking. Then that's the skill. The skill is important for reading task.
Okay. So for all of this, right, Alia, like, is there like different age that they are supposed to acquire the skill, or all of it is like the same?
Actually, it's not have a different age to develop all of the skill, because visual is developed from babies, which is starting from the 0 month. We have actually 1 month we already have eye tracking, or looks at the light, look at the object, something like that. So kita punya visual performance tu akan develop within the years lah. Macam bila semakin membesar, kita punya visual skill tu akan develop semakin complex performance lah. Okay. And next is another one important skill, which is a visual attention skill, where a child needed the attention to get the information and filter out unimportant background information. Okay, like example, kita nak membaca, kan dalam benda yang aktiviti kita membaca tu dia ada banyak tulisan semua. So how we want to focus with the words and how we can keluarkan benda yang tak penting. Contohnya macam dalam buku kan ada certain buku kanak-kanak kan ada tulisan dan juga gambar.
Yes.
So macam mana dia nak fokus pada tulisan sahaja. That's the importance of visual attention lah.
Because most of the time they get distracted by the pictures, right?
Yes, that's the reason why some of the child maybe have difficulty to perform reading task because of the picture lah. Sebab kalau dia tak boleh nak give sustain attention pada satu task, dia akan distracted dengan mudah untuk dari segi environment, or maybe dari segi bunyi ke something like that lah.
Okay.
Under the visual attention, we have 3 types of attention that we needed, which is the first one is sustained attention, second is divide, and third is flexible. Okay, for the sustained attention, actually how a child to focus for one task, one thing. Like example, we give a puzzle, macam mana budak tu dia nak sustain dia punya attention pada puzzle saja, walaupun kat belakang dia ada bunyi ke, ada jalan ke, whatsoever semua. So macam mana dia nak sustain tu, that's the important of the visual attention lah. So dia akan gunakan visual tu untuk fokus pada task yang dia buat.
So this one will affect yeah, what type of activities that they do usually that they'll get distracted?
Yeah, this one maybe they can set a child, like example, we give homework for them. Maybe teacher give them, then they need to do at home. So bila dia nak buat apa ni homework tu, dia nak menulis tu, dia perlu fokus. So bila contohnya masa dia tengah menulis, tiba-tiba dia dengar ada orang berjalan, ada orang bercakap ke dekat belakang. If they have difficulty to focus to siapkan kerja tu, dia orang akan distracted dan which is dia orang akan tinggalkan aktiviti tersebut dan pergi ke aktiviti yang lain.
Okay, but how do we make sustain their attention? Just say if we put them in a specific spot for them to like do their homework and all that, is there a possibility of them still getting distracted?
Betul. Dia macam akan senang distracted macam tu sebabnya bila dia tak boleh nak fokus pada satu benda, dia akan interrupt dia punya performance. Lepas tu dia akan susah untuk return back to continue lah if like that. And a child yang kalau ada difficulty with visual attention, dia akan ada difficulty untuk dia akan ada difficulty untuk recognize the different shape, letter or numbers. Like example, we give find the differences or find the hidden figure. If the child cannot sustain their attention, so dia akan distracted dengan gambar-gambar yang ada. So dia tak akan ambil masa yang sangat lama untuk complete the task. Lepas tu, another one more thing, if a child have a difficulty with visual attention, they also tend to tend to write or count or maybe reading incorrectly lah. Like contohnya dia salah baca dalam buku kan kita ada banyak-banyak perenggan. Maybe baca daripada ayat yang pertama dekat paragraph. So if a child have that type of difficulty, it's difficult to sustain their attention for the task, which is with the first line.
Okay. There is a question here, Alia. Someone asked, so how to improve their attention span?
Okay, to improve the attention span, actually, we usually measure with the time, which is if a child can sustain like the initial session, maybe dia boleh sustain around 1 to 2 minutes. So kita akan buat some of the activity yang akan encourage them untuk have a more attention. Like example, contohlah budak ni dia sukakan puzzle. So kita akan bagi satu puzzle yang simple one, which is the 8 pieces puzzle like that, 6 pieces or 8 pieces yang simple punya. Kita bagi dia buat, berapa lama dia boleh buat untuk benda tu. Dan kita akan increasekan daripada, okay, kalau dia boleh buat 6 pieces puzzle tu dalam masa 1 minit, dan kita akan increasekan numbers of puzzle. So kita akan increase kepada 16 pieces of puzzle. If 16 pieces of puzzle tu dia boleh siapkan dalam masa 3 minit, kita increasekan lagi 20 pieces of puzzle. Like that. So kita continuous, like we make a simple task to the complex task.
So the activities we can do is not by giving them like trying to make them do their homework, but it's starting with things that they actually like, right?
Correct. Something yang diorang suka, which is benda tu diorang akan buat dengan cepat sekali. Diorang akan ambil masa yang lama. Mungkin contohnya budak tu suka drawing. So kita akan suruh dia draw satu lukisan dalam masa 1 minit. If they can do the drawing picture, dan kita increasekan lagi masa dan kita juga increasekan benda yang dia kena buat. Contohlah macam 1 minit tadi dia kena lukis satu objek. Kalau kita increasekan kepada 5 minit, kita minta dia lukis 10 objek. So kita akan tengok either dia boleh buat ke, dia tak boleh buat ke, kita akan increase within the kita akan measure gunakan masa dan juga kita measure gunakan complexity of the task. Okay, and the 6, 7, 8, this types of visual perception skill is a visual spatial relation. This one, some of the certain orang mungkin tak pernah dengar lah apa itu spatial relation. But in OT, we usually hear the spatial relation is how the child to perceive the position in space of two or more object in relation. Contohnya macam mana dia nak tahu mana satu belah kiri atau belah kanan, atas atau bawah, depan atau belakang. So that's the meaning of the spatial relation, which is body in space. So if a child have a difficulty with visual spatial relation, they tend to have difficulty to recognize which side they need to start, either the left side or right side. Contoh kalau macam kita nak bagi dia pakai kasut pun, sometimes dia mungkin tertukar kiri dan kanan. Kiri pakai kasut kanan pakai kaki kiri, macam tu. Something like they have difficulty to discriminate the sides lah.
Okay. Alia, there's another question.
Yes.
If the kids don't like to do homework, how do we encourage them to focus?
Okay, so if a child, actually I have a certain way to encourage them lah. The first one is give a reward, which is like we ask them to complete one homework, then we give 1 star. If they can collect 5 star, they can get 1 reward, something like that. Or otherwise we can break down the homework. Like example, we just do today how many homework did they have. Like example, maybe the teacher gave 2 homework a day. So we break down the homework. Morning we do 1 homework and evening we do another 1 more homework. So at least then diorang akan ada task yang diorang akan buat dalam masa 1 hari lah. Tak adalah macam okay, waktu pukul 8 sampai pukul 10 diorang wajib buat homework. No ni lah macam tu, sometimes kita pun tak nak buat juga.
Yeah.
So kita kena break down the task lah untuk diorang macam tu.
Okay, so rewarding them when they finish their homework or
break down the
breaking down the task. Okay.
Okay, for if a child have a visual spatial relation, the child also may affected with the letter formation lah. Sama macam yang kita ada masalah dengan visual closure, kalau budak tu ada masalah visual spatial relation, kita akan nampak dia akan ada difficulty dengan formation letter yang macam bentuk D dan B atau P dan Q, something like that. So sebab dia ada perubahan bentuk kan, macam B kecil menghadap ke kanan, D kecil hadap ke kiri kan, dia punya tu bentuk. So that's the reason kalau budak tu ada difficulty, nanti dia akan jadi susah untuk recognize lah which one is B, which one is D, something like that.
It looks very similar also.
Yeah. And the last one is a form constancy, which is the same picture or the formation of the object. Macam mana dia nak tahu bentuk tu consistent, which is sama size, sama size, shape and color mungkin sama, something like that. One is called as a form constancy. So normally if a child have a difficulty with form constancy, they maybe have a difficulty or have difficult to interpret the formation as accurate, or maybe difficult to read cursive writing. Yang tulisan bersambung tu mungkin dia akan jadi susah lah untuk faham apa benda yang kita tulis tu. So for the form constancy, biasanya kita akan bagi aktiviti macam find the same picture. So bila kita nak find the same picture, they need to know the same size, the same shape, the same direction. if a child have difficulty to find it, maybe bila kita buat handwriting activity, dia orang ada tendency untuk jadi sama masalah dengan yang dia tak boleh discriminate the upper and lower case of letter lah.
So, okay. You can continue.
Sorry, what?
Sorry, you can continue. I was thinking
Okay.
about a question and I forgot the question.
Okay, so I want to continue. I want to go to the another one part, which is what affected. If a child have a difficulty with visual perception, actually, if a child have a difficulty with the visual perception, they have difficulty to complete a puzzle, to differentiate left and right side, and tend to avoid certain tasks, like example drawing or searching a direction, something like that, and have a poor planning of action, as well as unable to perform copying tasks. Because bila satu budak ni dia ada difficulty untuk buat semua aktiviti macam contohnya puzzle ataupun discriminate left and right side, so bila dia nak buat tu dia akan cari pelbagai alasan lah. Macam contohnya dia akan minta, "Father, can you draw this one for me? Father, I don't know how the picture of house, can you draw for me?" So dia akan ada tendency untuk minta bantuan daripada orang lain untuk buat semua ni. And sometimes bila dia bila kita nampak budak tu difficult in reading, they maybe have difficulty because of the visual perception is not developed enough lah. Kira macam dia tak dapat apa shape of this letter or what is the words actually it's right. So that's the reason why some of the child dia akan lari daripada buat certain activity macam ni lah.
When they tend to try and avoid the task, what can we do so that they, as in if they, like just now you said, they will try to ask other people to help them. So how can we help them sit down and carry out the...
Oh, okay, I get it. So if a child have difficulty to perform, like contohnya dia tak nak membaca pun, maybe kita boleh buat interaction dengan dia, which is like kita encourage dia atau kita gunakan a different kind of voice, then we can engage them with the story, like storytelling, we do a puppet story, something like that. So kita akan encourage dia untuk membaca, untuk recognize the shape of alphabets, and also we need a lot of practice with them lah, because some of the kid may be difficult untuk recognize what is the shape. Contohnya macam mana bentuk huruf A, mungkin dia tak tahu kalau kita tak banyakkan practice, unless kalau kita buatkan aktiviti, contohnya kita gunakan beras atau sabun yang kita letak atas tray tu, lepas tu kita main messy play, kita buat guna jari, kita buat finger painting, shape dia. So something that interactive for them, so they can memorize the shape. Later on dia boleh untuk start membaca.
So it's trying to different activities to try and get them very interested in it first, is it?
Yes. Because bila kita nak encourage a child do an activity, we need to do with interactive activity. Actually, they have a lot of interactive that we need to use the things yang kita ada dekat rumah lah. Contohnya macam kita gunakan tulis atas tepung ataupun tulis atas pasir macam tadi kan, ataupun kita boleh guna puzzle dan kita hide and seekkan dia. So jadikan benda tu macam satu aktiviti yang menarik untuk mereka. So diorang akan lebih senang untuk bermain. Which is kita akan buat, biasanya kita akan lebih kepada bermain sambil belajar.
Instead of just full on study and do your work.
Correct. Because this kind of child can, especially for the special needs children, they have a difficulty with the attention, following the instructions. So cara kita untuk tackle diorang punya performance untuk buat satu-satu aktiviti ni adalah dengan buatkan aktiviti tu lebih menarik kepada mereka, because dia orang punya occupation adalah bermain. Kalau daripada segi orang dewasa, mungkin occupation kita mungkin jadi teacher, kita kena mengajar. Tapi kalau dari segi kanak-kanak ni, dia punya occupation adalah bermain. That's why kita kena bagikan dia bermain lah.
I think for like some adults, like for myself, I would also like lose attention if I'm only doing one thing. So I think when like just say if I was in college, my lecturers implement all these games and stuff like that to teachers, I think it's very much more interactive also.
Yes.
So it's very much more
yeah.
fun.
Actually, everybody want to do the job as fun as they can.
Yeah.
So that's why the importance of play for a child as well as for us. So kita boleh senang untuk memorize. Ingatlah untuk remember the letter, the point or the information that we need lah. And for the visual perception, actually is very important for our performance in functional tasks, especially for a child, which is they need to do addressing, to reading, writing, cutting, find object, movement like walking, and also solve the problems like mathematics problems or money problems, something like what they need to solve lah. So the important, so bila benda ni penting untuk functional task, so untuk kita developkan visual perception skill ni daripada kecil lagi, daripada kanak-kanak itu usia setahun dua tu sangatlah penting untuk, it's very important for the child lah, because at least bila diorang dah besar tu diorang dah boleh dapat how the formation of the letter, what is the size that they need to write. Macam contohnya dia nak start menulis, huruf pertama tu kena huruf besar, yang lain huruf kecil, ataupun tulis tu atas line, find the hidden object. So that kind of thing is important in the future, so we train the child from younger age.
So Alia, like what are the type of things that parents or we can do to help the child with their visual perception?
Actually banyaklah yang kita boleh buat selain daripada kita gunakan worksheet. Tapi hari ni saya nak explain a little bit from side of the worksheet and also from the side of games lah. So bila kita bagi worksheet, contohnya kita bagi word search punya worksheet atau find the hidden figure, that's the cara untuk kita bagi bagi a child to have good attention as well as the discrimination and all the types of visual perception. Because dalam contohlah dalam word search, dia boleh discriminate the letter, they have a visual closure which is they know, oh this letter is how it look like, and this letter how it look like, and this word how it's spelled, like example how to spell happy, Happy, so they know how to spell it, and it can help for the visual attention that they need to give the attention for the words lah. So bila dia nak cari perkataan happy tu, dia perlu cari dari atas ke bawah, kiri ke kanan, or maybe diagonal side, something. So dia perlu banyakkan movement of eye tracking. So that's the important of the word search activity for them lah. So kita boleh bagi word search, kita boleh bagi find hidden figure games, or maybe find the same picture, or find a shadow. So from that kind of the activity, a child know how to have a good visual attention, visual perception skill. Kalau daripada segi games, kita boleh buat aktiviti lacing with them, which is lacing yang kita masukkan dalam beads ke, ataupun kita gunakan lacing macam buat gelang tu, kan ada alfabet kan, ada yang orang jual yang alfabet punya tu, kita boleh buat aktiviti macam tu, so they know A, B, C, then what is the letter after that, something like they have a sequence, they have a good visual memory for that activity lah. Other than that, we can do copying tasks, which is we take a Lego
Hmm?
or a block, then ask a child to copy. If we do that kind of activity, kita bukan saja dapat tackle dia punya visual perception, kita dapat tackle dia punya cognitive performance, which is dari segi how they can interpret 3D, 2D or 3D formation, and the colors and the shape, how they have good imagination with that. So that's the importance of this kind of activity for them lah.
When do we start worrying? How will we know if our child is just writing bad, or he really doesn't know, or she really doesn't know how to write?
Can one actually kita akan start worry if a child bila dia dah umur dalam 5 tahun, 4 tahun, 5 tahun, dia tak reti, they have difficulty to perform handwriting activity. Okay, we start to worry why the child difficult to do the handwriting task. It may be because of the finger strength, it may be because of visual perception, as well as maybe because of the cognitive function. So it's depend why the task is difficult for them. Especially kalau budak tu dah masuk sekolah tapi still lagi handwriting tak cantik ke ataupun ada masalah dengan handwriting ke. So kita start to tackle visual perception activity ni lah. Selain daripada tu, kita boleh juga detect if a child have difficulty in reading. Kita tengok kenapa dia ada masalah reading. It could be because of the sensory, it could be because of the perception lah.
Today I learned that visual is not only like, oh, I see something and then that's how it's like, oh, I didn't know that there's so many things that contributes to it. Like
Actually,
writing,
yes. Actually, that's why kita punya mata ni penting tau. Because kita nak tengok benda tu dan kita nak memorize dia dalam kita punya cognitive function, kita nak keep it as a memory storage. Lepas tu kita nak kena interpret pula in future macam mana bentuk tu. So actually dia perlukan banyak banyak steps lah untuk kita dapatkan satu-satu benda tu. Tapi biasanya kita akan buatkan macam vision je, tak ada apa pun.
Yeah, we never thought of like, oh, it plays such an important role in our life. Like, yeah, our eyes is important, but we never knew that it's important because of what.
Correct. Yeah, because of that lah. And one more thing, visual perception is important for handwriting and reading performance. So if a child have difficulty to perform that kind of task, in future they have difficulty to perform more complex tasks. Like example, do cutting activity, maybe find the object. Like example, kita letak kat tempat yang ada banyak barang. Contohnya kita nak suruh dia cari kunci dekat dalam bekas gula-gula. So macam mana dia nak cari kalau dia tak tahu macam mana bentuk kunci tu ke, macam mana the feel of texture kunci tu, kalau dia tak boleh nak agak, so dah akan jadi susah untuk mereka lah.
Wow, okay. So Alia, can you just briefly tell us the names of all the 9 that you sebutkan tadi?
Oh, the 9 of visual perception
just
skill
a summary, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we have 9 types of visual memory. The most important one is a visual tracking skill, which is how we track the object. Then the visual attention, which is how we focus to see the object and how we can know to get the words lah. Maksudnya, bila kita tengok perkataan tu, oh kita tahu ini maksudnya apa. Perkataan tu untuk apa. And then kita ada visual memory and visual sequence memory. Dua ni akan saling berkait sebabnya visual memory ni macam mana kita tengok benda tu sekarang dan nanti kita kena recall balik. So dia akan jadi berkait dengan sequence, which is daripada bentuk ni macam mana dia jadi bentuk ni dan macam mana dia jadi macam ni. So dia macam ada sequence dia lah macam mana dia nak jadi bentuk macam tu. And then kita ada visual spatial relation, macam mana dia nak discriminate left and right side, ups and down, back and in front, something like that. Semua body in space. So this one is important for a child to perform functional tasks in school, especially in handwriting skill. And also we have a form constancy, which is how they can know atau macam mana dia boleh dapat tahu bentuk satu-satu formation letter, bentuk letter tu, bentuk alphabets tu macam mana, bentuk numbers tu macam mana. So the importance of form constancy is like that. And then we have visual discrimination, how they can discriminate between this alphabet and another one more alphabet. Like example, macam mana dia nak discriminate B dengan D, P dengan Q, something yang nampak serupa
Pindah.
tapi berbeza. Dan kita ada visual figure ground, which is macam mana dia nak figure out, nak differentiate between front ground and background, which is tulisan dan gambar tu macam mana dia nak discriminatekan. And the last one is the visual closure, which is how they can
Finish the drawing and all, right?
Yeah, the halfway drawing or missing part. Macam mana dia nak completekan dia punya picture tu lah.
Okay.
So that's the types of the visual perception, and all of the visual perception skill is important for the child to perform functional tasks, especially in handwriting, reading, as well as ADL activity like dressing, buttoning, or feeding, something like that. Semua perlukan
visual.
Okay,
so thank you so much, Alia, for sharing us about 9 different types, right?
Yes,
9 different types of visual perception. I learned a lot today also. So thank you so much, Alia.
Thank you so much too for Alisa, and we can see in the next topic next month lah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.